Welcome to Verbal Freak Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Just giving you a brief update on a Chad Holley situation, but still, we're seeking justice for Mario Woods in San Francisco, gunned down in a hail of bullets by the police department in San Francisco, killed this young brother in a savage manner, a human being, and people are outraged. Mayor calls for Department of Justice to intervene, do an investigation, because we don't want to set the precedent that it's okay to line humans up and perform a firing squad upon them at the mindset of the police department whenever they feel like it, because that's not what citizens and that's not what the taxpayer wants. Now, Chad Holley met a young man while incarcerated. This young man is tied to, I believe, 2 murders, a security guard, and this 4-year-old. But for some reason, Chad Holley is connected to this battle, a.k.a. Pee-wee. Now, Chad Holley, you may remember, I believe it was 2010, 2012, when HPD hit the brother with a vehicle, then jumped on him, beat him down. He was to come into a $600,000 settlement, supposedly, but got caught in other crimes, and the settlement was taken off the table. And this morning in court, Cornell X asked to see the data from the ankle monitor that Chad Holley was wearing to see if he really was in that vicinity or in that area where the crime had taken place. Because we all know that when a group of black people are energized by a case of injustice, because we've been victims of injustice for our duration in America, then you have to go over everything that is presented to you with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that it is what it is. And then you have to go over the motive and the reason on why it is, because things are in the air, such as people are upset at the gathering for justice for Chad Holley, which gave this police department a black eye. You don't know what deal was made with Battle. Even just a phone call to suggest to come out and just stand guard, because the motive is to erase the unity. And so people can say, man, why get involved in helping the youth and standing for young people, especially young black males, when in the end they're still going to commit crimes for those that are in the system? Why should I put my life on the line for them when they're not going to do right? And so many of the elderly say that the youth is lost. But that's only if you look at it through the eyes of the ones who created the scenario or the narrative that the youth is lost, or put things in place to create a visual so that you may follow their lead that they're doing purposely, because to not allow the unification of black people as a whole. Divide and conquer is the modus operandi. So you have Chad Holley met someone while incarcerated. Chad Holley gets out of jail as an ankle monitor. Now, Chad Holley is known for burglary and petty crimes. As Cornell X said, murder. He said, that's not the Chad Holley I know to be a murderer, because I spent time with him. But you were tied to a supposedly murderer. But what was that tie? Meaning, was there a conspiracy brewing to tie Chad Holley to a brutal murder scene, so it could tear down all of the hard work that people put into and fighting for justice? As Brother Derek Muhammad said, the principle of justice is what the fight was for. And you have to keep reiterating that, because you don't want someone to turn it to say that the fight wasn't for justice. The fight was just to get a black male attention or publicity due to the violent police beating that he suffered. So you have people saying that, look at him, there he goes again. But there's a hidden, underlying reason behind all this, and that is to discourage unity. So don't get caught up in the hype. And that's why Brother Farrakhan said we need 10,000 fearless to stand in between two brothers who's holding a gun on each other to bring peace to a community, to communities that doesn't have police from its, let's say, community members or its police department. So you have a group of people in certain communities that are living under duress, and it's going to take, if we say that it takes a village to raise a child, then that means that this whole city would have to become a village and intervene in communities to where the taxpayers, citizens, the elderly who've been there generations now find themselves prey to those who don't want to get out and better themselves or work or make their community a safe place to live. Then it's going to take people from all over to go into those areas to ensure justice. And that's something that every individual is entitled to, and that's justice. So we want to be vigilant, but also we'd like to pay attention and monitor this case, because the case is unique due to all of the surrounding circumstances. I mean, it's almost like how you couldn't write it no better than what's being taking place today. You know, it almost has a Hollywood feel to it, in a sense. And the sad reality of it is that a young indigenous 4-year-old female lost her life. Her mother also lost her life. I believe her sister lost her life. That it should have never come to that. And it should never be a situation to where a mother and her children can't go get groceries without some deadbeat, I'd say, or someone who has no sense of themselves, no knowledge at all, to brutally murder and attack females. Now, that was a cowardly act. Even the notion to get into your mind, and you're a sick individual in your mind, to where you can say, hey, let me go out and rob a female. What place, how can you as a human being justify those actions? Because when you stand for what's right and you stand for the truth, then it doesn't matter what someone else's agenda may be, and it doesn't matter which way they try to turn or twist the narrative. At the end of the day, the fact still remains. But can you justify your actions and the forward motion that you proceeded? We want to see the justification in your mindset. And if you can't justify your act, then you are a careless murderer, criminal, and in a civil society has no place for you. Now, if it was a setup, a conspiracy to block unity by a department in which people put their tax dollars into, and as a resort, meaning, let's paint the narrative, meaning if Battle was working for someone to go off and do a petty purse snatching and get tied to where to ensure that $600,000 isn't paid out to Chad Holley, and a simple go after the purse, leave the females alone, then turn around and report what took place. We'll go and arrest Chad Holley on attempted, because that's his MO, robbery, burglary, petty crimes, but at the same time it's still a crime, which is which would validate punishment. But could it have gotten out of hand to where shots were fired, people were murdered, and now what? Will he make it to trial for the truth to come out? What's really going on, I guess, in other words. So people are staying vigilant. They want to see what is going on. But I do have to give credit where credit is due. all the activists that's out there fighting for justice in the city, such as Brother Eric Muhammad, Brother Cornell X, Derek Muhammad, Brother Robert Muhammad, so many others through the city, including myself, who will lend my voice to situations that are unjust. So I lend my voice to give justice to where injustice sits. In a time that we live in today, justice is very important because the atmosphere of racism is real, and we all know the history of the history is just there. You can Google, you can just throw in evidence planted on black men and things will pop up. Different cases. Injustice amongst blacks. Right? And so if you wanna set things right, then you have to do something. You have to put your spoke in the wheel in the fight for justice. Whatever the Creator puts on your heart to do, you can be you. You can't be the next man and what he's doing. You find your own unique talent and you do it and put it out in the public, and know for sure someone is gonna criticize what you do because it's different from what they do. And some people feel as though you have to be on board with what they do in order to get things done, and that's not true at all. You have to be in line and in tune with what needs to take place in order to create the justice. It's like a band. You might want to play the drums while one is playing the horn. So you're in tune, you're in sync, but you playing your tune is different, but is needed in order to make it come together, or in order for you to have that beautiful sound. So if you like playing the drums to get to the goal, don't let someone tell you to put your drums down and get a horn, because the horn is not what you do. You do the drums. And you know these drums. You studied these drums. And that's your spoke in the wheel for a forward roll towards justice. And because every human being, every individual deserves justice, and actually was created justly for justice, as the universe or universal laws was established to create harmony. Harmony is synonymous with justice, because you are at peace when you are in harmony. So yeah, just wanted to drop that out there, man. We got to keep this thing rolling. Me personally, I see so much what is going on, not just in just what they call Houston, but I mean surrounding areas from Humble to Cypress, all part of the thing. We can't leave communities out because we sticking with what is traditional. But you had a big migration here in Houston from Missouri City to Katy to Cypress to Pasadena to Humble to Atascocita to so many different places, cities surrounding Houston that has a large black population that also needs a voice, and that's also building and growing.
And so we don't ever want to make it seem as though they not a part of when we say the black community and we throw out a couple of neighborhoods, but you don't shout out all the neighborhoods. You got Aliens is out there, Mission Bend, all over the Southwest that needs attention, that needs Alien clothing. Black neighborhood been there for years. I mean, I'm talking about going back to the early 1900s. And so you would have to include or do your research to find out what's what here in this city of Houston and surrounding area. You got old neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, such as Carverdale, Piney Point, old black neighborhoods that has to get their due. We know the neighborhoods that are popular, but shine some light on the community that's not as popular, but has a large population of blacks that's actually out there creating and trying to build, bring them into unification, speak upon them and their issues, because if you black in America, you facing the same injustice no matter where you go or no matter where you at. It's still there. So unite with the unitables and those that you can, let's say, bring into the fold to make the unification stronger. That's a plus. Verbal Pig Radio, where we keep hitting you with information, news, different perspectives on reality. We give you a verbal image of life. We are everyday people. Shout out, low key. Shout out to the Chill Factor. Them boys from the six. Marcus Mud. Jasmine Blue. Gotta give a shout out to the wife and the children for supporting me, keeping me grounded. My jewels. Let's keep this thing rolling. And this is, like I said, this is my way of giving back whenever the spirit hits me. Then I come and give back just to put another spoke in the wheel on this forward road towards justice. And I'm like they say, do it my way, but in the spirit of, in the spirit of a forward, onward march towards freedom, justice, and equality. But in line, though, in tune, just unorthodox. And then we'll see what time brings. Cold Black, a.k.a. Vince Cole Muhammad, Verbal Pig Radio. We out.